For the Philippines, for example, and also around Asia, the question of peace and security is also a question of climate. And for us, the threat of climate change is also threatening the peace for people and for our development. For example, the Philippines has traditionally have 24 disasters per year. That's a lot. The US has 27. So the Philippines is number 2 in the world. But the Philippines is a small country, a small population compared to the United States, and also the fact that it's a poor country. So you can just imagine the threat on people in terms of conflict on one hand, on the other hand, the question of disaster. It's not just the Philippines. You find the Pacific Islands threatened with rising waters. You see typhoons, everywhere in the South Asia, the Indian Ocean, and so on. And so, because of this, these are development threats that are essential for us to address when we talk about development days in the in Europe. For Asia and for my organization, we believe that what is fundamental is that our people and our governments, our societies, should address the question of peace based on justice. It's not simply talking about, reconciliation and so on, which are important, but what's more important is to address the roots that creates unpeace or the problem of the lack of security, for human security, because of different factors that our societies face. These are issues that should be addressed by the whole people. We try to promote an understanding of the issues of peace and security. We actually militate on our people to demand genuine peace and demand that our governments address the issues of conflict, whether it's conflict created by insurgencies, the fact that there are conflicts created by border wars, or the conflict that's created that's more internal, the fact that you have unpeace because there's poverty, the fact that there's rising criminality because people are not able to get by because of the economic crisis and so on, the fact that women face threats, of violence, whether from the police or the armies, or just generally sexual violence, the fact that children are being mutilated or destroyed, or their futures destroyed. And because of that, organizations, NGOs, and people's organizations are very important. They are the front line, in a sense, of defense for the people. And they're also essential to ensure that the people are able to claim their rights, so that the different aspects of rights related to the question of peace and development are addressed. I think people have not really understood enough what climate change is about, in the sense of understanding its roots and the implications. First, everyone should understand that you need to have degrowth. You cannot have growth. If we want to address climate change, the countries of the north cannot have just flat growth. They actually need degrowth. And what I mean by degrowth is changing the way we organize our economies, how we understand incomes, how we understand standards of living. And it's doable if there is sufficient will from our governments, first of all, from the companies, and finally the people. It does not start with the people. It starts with those who have the power. For us in Asia, or from the South, it's not about having growth. It's not about continuing with growth. It's about changing also our understanding of growth. To be able to fulfill the needs of our societies in a way that is responsible.